Hey friends, Kylie here, your host of Dream On with Kylie O'Miller, back for season 4 of the Dream On podcast. I am so excited to be here today for another episode with one of our KO17 Lacrosse sponsored athletes, an inspiration to young Long Island lacrosse players everywhere, and a person that has been working hard for all of her success for years. Thank you as always for tuning in. These episodes are recorded from a live Zoom webinar that I hold through the KO17 Lacrosse app and are constructed into this Dream On podcast you have found here. I hope you are gaining some insight from these episodes from some of the people that I have met throughout my lacrosse journey that have imposed so much of their wisdom on me. If you are loving our episodes so far, show us some love in the reviews and rate us 5 stars. Also, be sure to SUBSCRIBE. It would mean the world to us. All right, we've got another special guest this week, and I'm so pumped to get right into it. Tess Calabria is this episode's guest, and I am so excited to have had a chance to really dive into what makes up her DNA. She's a star in the lacrosse world right now, playing for a top Long Island Yellow Jackets team, being one of the highest ranked recruits in the 2024 class, and a U18 Team USA development team stud who's headed to Carolina next year. She doesn't get to that success without the mindset and the work that she has, and that's exactly what we tap into in this episode. We chat about Tess's combination of support and competition with her twin brother, Luke, growing up. We talk through her journey through multiple club programs, and we dive into how she keeps her mental game sharp in attacking her goals. I know you all see her highlights on Instagram, so I hope you enjoy this episode as much as you enjoy those. All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Dream On podcast. I'm your host, Kylie O'Miller, and today we are kicking off another episode with our KO17 athlete season. Today we have Tess Calabria, and she's a KO17 athlete, obviously. She's a St. Anthony's High School senior. She is committed to play lacrosse at UNC, so she's headed there next year, which I know she's super excited about, and we'll dive into today. She's an attacker for the Long Island Yellow Jackets, and she is literally coming off of a weekend playing at the Fall Classic with the USA U18 select team. So a lot of different things that Tess is going to dive into for us today. But Tess, I'm so excited to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm super excited to talk about my story.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's dive into it. So before we kind of go into, your lacrosse journey and everything that makes up who you are, we kind of like to start off to a good start. So we kind of tap into like where you're at right now in the moment while we're recording. So for reference, it is Monday, October 16th, 2023 at around 7:30 p.m. So what is something that you're thankful for today, Tess?
Yeah, today I think something I'm thankful for is my family, because coming off a weekend at USA, just having them there was a really special moment, and having my friends there was really special too. So definitely the relationships I have with people I'm thankful for today.
That's awesome. What is, I know you had a big weekend. So what's something that you are proud to say that you've accomplished today?
I'll go along with the USA team again. Being a part of that team is just so special, and it's just an honor every time I get to put on that jersey. So I'm definitely going to go with that today.
Yeah, you said you had 2 big wins, huh?
Yeah, 2 big wins with awesome people. Was really nothing better than getting out there with them.
Yeah, very, very cool. It's always awesome to be able to watch those highlights and everything and see you crushing it out there. All right, what is last but not least, what is something that you're pumped to go chase? Could be like with the rest of this week, could be with the rest of this year, could be a big goal, a small goal. What are you pumped to chase?
Something I'm definitely pumped to chase right now is the high school season. We have big goals this year for our team, and I just like looking forward to that is something really special, and I think we're going to have a really good year.
Yeah, that's exciting. And all new coaches, right? So it's going to be awesome to be a little bit of a leader, right? So it's going to be
Yeah, we just got to meet all of them and got together as a team for the first couple of times. So just like seeing the envision and all the plans we have is just really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. So it kind of just like re-sparks all that motivation and everything, right? And
Yeah, definitely.
I think we're going to get into that too later on in this conversation, just like your values as a leader and things that you're looking forward to. So I'm excited to kind of like hear a little bit about how you're prepping for that season, right? Because you said you're excited to chase it. Cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. So many things to kind of check in about, but we're going to start with where you're at right now. And as you mentioned a couple times, right, you just literally came off of a weekend playing for the USA U18 select team. So first and foremost, you mentioned it's like awesome to have family and friends there. It's awesome to have those relationships and, the competition level and everything like that. So how are you feeling? What were some of your favorite moments from this weekend, and what's it overall like to play for that team?
It honestly just like feels like a dream getting out there. I know it probably sounds like a little cliche to say, but just like being there, it's kind of like, oh my God, am I here? But probably some of the best moments is seeing the teammates and the girls because we don't really get to see each other that much throughout the year because we're all from all over. But we all like talk on like Snapchat and text. And then when we come together, it's really just the fastest, best 3 days ever of the year. I always look forward to it when I get that opportunity. But overall, there's just nothing like it being surrounded by coaches and players that have the same goals, and it just creates such an intense, fun environment.
Yeah. So what does a weekend like that look like in terms of like a training weekend, or this weekend was fall classic. So it's kind of even more hyped up and there's a lot of games, a lot of teams there. What did that look like for you guys? What did each day kind of look like?
Yeah, so we got in Thursday night. We got your roommate. You like wake up, have breakfast together. We went and practice. We got to watch the U20 team, which was super cool. A couple of my friends play on that team. Then we got up, played some games. It's super fun because there's a lot of like media and like people surrounding it. And it's just like really hyped up, and it's just super cool to see all the little kids like signing autographs. Everything that comes with it is just super cool. Then we played 2 games. We had a team dinner, hung out in the hotel, which was also really fun because as much as lacrosse is really fun, hanging out is just as fun because you don't really get to do it that much with those girls from all over. And then Sunday we played in the Brogdon Cup championship game, and we were lucky enough to win it. And it was super fun taking pictures and just celebrating with my teammates.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was really cool to like be at home and kind of watch you guys take over that cup and everything. And it's always really special to play at USA Lacrosse too, right? And just kind of like have that home mentality.
Yeah, running out of the tunnel is like we all talk about that all the time. It's like the best feeling ever.
I love it. It's so cool to see it. And, like USA development program, like really didn't exist when I was growing up. It was just U19 and then the senior national team. So it's so awesome that you guys have the opportunity to, go through regional tryouts and then go through the summit and then kind of be able to like represent the country,
Yeah.
before you get to the U20 and then the senior national team as well. So it's awesome. Awesome that you get those experiences. All right, you mentioned something as well earlier in like some of your goals that you have, but it's your senior year. First and foremost, that's crazy to me because
Yeah. Oh my God, it's crazy. The first week of school, I was like, wow. Like I was
yeah,
like looking for my senior friends, and I'm like, oh my God, I am the senior. I am the senior friend now.
you are the old one now. And
Yeah.
for me, that makes me feel double the age because you started coming to KO17 lacrosse clinics when we first started. And
Yeah, when
you're
I
in
was like fourth
session.
grade.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like,
were
how am
little,
I in 12th grade?
down to here. Now you're like 6 inches taller than me. And it's awesome. It's so cool to see you like grow into, the place that you're at now, not only as like a player, but a leader, like we were talking about, a person. We've been able to like run some clinics together too, like your back home clinic and everything. And just to see you on that side of the ball and on that side of things, it's really, really cool to just see, because I can look back and be like, I remember Tess when she was in, 5th, 6th grade, which is so funny. But anyway, what are your days like these days? So when you're not playing for Team USA on the weekends, what's like a Monday to Friday looking like, and what are you kind of like focusing on this senior year?
Yeah, Monday to Friday, they're pretty much the same. I train with my trainer before school. I go to school, then I normally come home, do my homework, and then I normally have like lacrosse, like we do fall league and practice for St. Anthony, so I'll normally have that at night or another lacrosse training. So pretty much all the same Monday through Friday, but it varies with that. I also play travel basketball, so sometimes that's thrown in there. But
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much just prepping for the season. It's going to be a really big year, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That's awesome. What are some things like, life goes fast. We were just talking about it, but what are some things you're trying to like slow down and celebrate a little bit during this senior year as well?
Yeah, definitely like everything my school's offering, like all the little like senior things. Like I know it's gonna go so fast. So like just like doing like powder puff and like homecoming, all that stuff with my friends. I'm just really trying to enjoy that before it's gone because I talked to a lot of my senior teammates that are at college now, and they're like it went so fast. So I'm just trying to like soak all of it in right now.
That's a great way to look at it. I think that's, as you mentioned, you're going to be that freshman next year that's telling your younger friends, like, don't take it for granted. It goes by so fast. So it's cool. It's really, really exciting to see you just taking advantage of all the things your school has to offer. All right. So you mentioned something that I think is really, really interesting about your journey, right? I think so much of what we see in lacrosse these days is specialization in our sport. And you just mentioned that you still play travel basketball. You're a senior in high school, right?
Yeah.
So think about when you first started playing lacrosse. We're going back now, back in your journey. First started playing lacrosse. Did you start playing lacrosse first? Did you start playing basketball first? What was your introduction to sports like when you were younger?
I think my first sport was either soccer or dance, but my parents, luckily enough, they signed us up for like every sport under the sun. We played everything together, me and my brother. And honestly, lacrosse, it just like it came most naturally to me, definitely. And it was like one of the ones that I found like I really wanted to go outside and practice by myself compared to the other sports. But not until like fourth or fifth grade did I really start like cutting it down to like one or two sports.
Awesome. And you mentioned you played everything with your brother, right? You guys are twins, right?
Yeah, I
And
have a twin brother. He's going to Colgate for ice hockey.
awesome. So what was that like level of competition like when you guys were playing sports together growing up, or was it just like mostly support or a little bit of a combination of both?
Oh, it was crazy. Having a twin was like such a unique experience that obviously not a lot of people get to have growing up. And I'm so thankful I had it because I think it really created like who I am as a person and a player today because we were all support when we were playing like different sports, different games, but when we were together, everything was a competition, whether it was who could do anything first, any sport, didn't matter, ping pong, like kitchen, like throwing stuff, anything was a competition. And it just
That's,
like I think it really fueled like my competitive side of me.
yeah, that's awesome. Like you said, even just like taking out the trash, who could do it
Yeah.
faster?
Who could
Just
run, who could get there fastest, who would sit in the front seat, everything.
every time. Yeah, I'm sure you guys still have a little bit of that in you, right?
Definitely. And like we'll never admit like the support is very on like the low, but like we definitely support each other, but it's definitely from a little bit farther. He goes to a hockey boarding school. So I think
Okay.
we definitely got really close over the last 2 years because we don't like live together anymore. So we kind of realizing that we have to be like really good friends now compared to just like competitive, but we're so supportive of each other and just so it was just such an awesome experience growing up.
That's awesome. Hey guys, Kylie here. A short break from our conversation to remind you to check in on our social channels. You can find little snippets from our episodes on Instagram at dream.on_pod. And if you're a lacrosse stud looking for a unique way to train and develop into the best version of yourself, like our guest here most definitely has, check out the KO17 Lacrosse app in the App Store. That's KO17 Lacrosse. And at DREAM_ON_POD on Instagram. Come join the fam and we can keep dreaming on together. Okay, enough of that. We back. That's awesome. So you mentioned you played a couple different sports and obviously with your brother, but how did you get into lacrosse? Do you remember like your first time picking up a lacrosse stick? Do you remember your first practice, first game?
So lacrosse I think was one of like the later sports I joined, but it was because in preschool we had friends that played lacrosse, my classmates that played lacrosse that like my mom like they told my mom to sign us up for PAL and I joined a PAL program in Huntington. Me and my brother joined in kindergarten, I think. And it just was like it was always the most fun for me. It was always something I was looking forward to. I don't at the time it probably wasn't just the game itself. I think it was just being out there with my friends. But like over time progressed, I think it was just what I like felt most fun and most like comfortable doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned like it just kind of like comes naturally to you. You really like being out there doing the extra work and like just kind of like getting better at it on your own. That passion is like hard to come by. And I think it's definitely a part of like what's made you such a successful player at the point that you're at right now in your career. So what do you feel like you've done that kind of separates you from others into like, that level of you're a top recruit, you're going to UNC next year, you're, playing for the USA select team. Like, how did you get there? What was the kind of work and what was the process like so far?
I joined a club team when I was in about 3rd grade, and I just think, like, seeing older girls, like, go through that, it was just, like, I always saw them and I was like, "Wow," like, that's something that I definitely wanna work for, but then also, like, with my parents, like, I think they would also just always encourage us to be, like, the best version of ourselves in, like, everything we're doing. So then, like, when I really loved lacrosse, it's kind of just where it took off, like, I just, like, had the urge to, like, be the best at it, and then just like I saw all the opportunities the sports had to offer, and like my dreams to be like big in lacrosse started really young. And I just think like working every day, whether it was not only lacrosse though, but like playing other sports, I think definitely helped lacrosse. I just think like going out there and being competitive and just like always trying to be the best at what I do is just part of like what really created me into a good lacrosse player.
That's awesome. So can you talk a little bit about like you mentioned you started playing club in about 3rd grade, so you're playing for the Yellow Jackets eventually. Right. And so when you got to that high school level and you started realizing like, okay, this is a next step dream for me. I want to maybe play in college. What was that like realization process like for you? And then can you talk a little bit about your recruiting process and some things that you learned throughout it?
Yeah, for sure. So I started at a different club when I was in 3rd grade, and it was like a little, it was like a 2nd tier club, and I just like I was always like I always had like the urge, and I would see like stuff about Yellow Jackets and like the Wiener team on Instagram because they were ranked really high at the time, and then in 7th grade I like made the switch because had always had the urge to like be on the best team and like get the best like surrounded by the best players to get better at the sport.
Mhm.
So when I joined the Wiener team, I was surrounded by like such good coaches and players that really just created me into the person and player I am today. And then it just like fueled me. All the tournaments, it really fueled me to be like to take it to the next level. So going into high school, going into recruiting, I just think like I just had like a really big goal, and I really wasn't going to stop at like whatever it was to let me get it. And I just think like the support system was truly like the best part of it all. But recruiting wise, I was in a really lucky situation, and I was I got to talk to such amazing coaches on September 1st, and it was just honestly an unreal experience. I like it was so fun and enjoyable getting to know everyone. And then I went on all my visits, talked to all the coaches, and it just getting to know them was like the best part. And it was
Mhm.
just like when you had to make a decision, you kind of had to separate the school and the coach because like all the coaches, it was just like so hard because they were all such great people and the conversations were so special. And then just like talking to Coach Jenny and Coach Phil at North Carolina, it just like it felt like home right away.
Mhm. That's awesome. Was there anything about, so you mentioned something really important, right? Like you kind of had to, in your head, like separate the coach from the university because, you never know down the line, right? Like you want to still be able to like succeed at the school without lacrosse as well, because it's going to be your home for 4+ years, right?
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about like girls that are going through the recruiting process now, or maybe coming up on it, what are some things that you learned maybe throughout yours or talking to your teammates or peers about their recruiting process? What's maybe some advice that you can pass on to the next generation of people who are going to go through it?
I think honestly, just like stay calm as hard as it is in that moment, because it is a really stressful decision deciding where you're going for the next 4 years. But staying calm and just like letting it come to you. Because I mean, I made my decision on September 22nd, which like doesn't sound like a lot of time, but it was probably a little later than a lot of people. Compared to a lot of my team was, I think I was in like the last 5 or 6 committed on my team.
Wow.
But it'll kind of just come to you and not rushing to make that decision, and just like having the respect to talk to everyone and just make good connections across the board. And it's just like when the time comes, you'll know.
Yeah. I think that's really important, staying calm, right? And there's so many pressures around it, especially with social media and things these days, right? And you just see all the commitments. So I think that's a really strong piece of advice. So thank you for that. What do you think? So like, senior year, you're a leader, you're on the USA select team, you're headed to Carolina next year. When you think about like some of your successes so far, what are some of the things you're most proud of?
I think some things I'm most proud of is just like how far I've come from when I started to where I am now. It's just like cool to look back and see like all of the little things that I've accomplished, whether it would be in basketball, lacrosse, or school, any of them. It's just like super cool to see all of it. But for lacrosse wise, I just think like small things like making varsity as a freshman, and even to the big things like USA, just like all the little like successes have just like created such like a drive and fuel that have like led me to like have bigger dreams. And just like lacrosse being part of the Olympics today was like so cool to hear. I know at school, like we were all talking about it because I have a lot of lacrosse friends at my school, and it's just such a cool thing for our sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so cool. We kind of are recording this podcast on a really special day for the sport. And, like you mentioned, like you've had a lot of kind of fuel, like you mentioning the word fuel a lot and fueling you to be great. So definitely some things that I want to chat about there, because I think that that's really important. I feel like everyone's journey is a little bit different, right? Especially as lacrosse players, especially as elite athletes, right? So what do you think are some of those things that have fueled you? Do you feel like it's maybe some setbacks that you've had in the past? Maybe it's, getting cut from a team, or maybe it's, a big time loss, or maybe it's criticism from a coach. Like, what were some setbacks that you can think back to, or maybe challenges that you can think back to that have kind of added fuel to that fire?
Yeah, challenges definitely. As much as you're talking about USA, I have been cut from that team twice. And so I think also just like being able to, when you get cut from something and then you have it the next year, circling it and working the whole year till you get that opportunity again is just something that I've experienced a couple times. And it just like, I think it's made me such a better person and a player, because it really just like sets your mindset and gives you another thing to work towards. And then another setback I experienced last year was probably my first like real injury, when I dealt with a minor knee injury in the middle of the season. It was a little difficult because like you work your for especially for high school athletes, the season isn't very long. So like having like a knee injury in the middle of the season, we were gonna miss like 6 of the 9 weeks. So pretty much the rest of the season was like really hard for me to deal with. I know like if you ask my coaches or my family, I was not a good injured person, and I'm super thankful for them dealing with me because I was always pushing the boundaries with trying to get back. But I had to miss like this game I've had circled on my calendar for like 2 years, and it was just like really hard to come to terms with. But like coming back from that, like it just makes you appreciate every minute you're on the field so much more, because like having senior year, I can't even believe that it's senior year. All 3 of the years of high school have flew by so fast the whole season.
Yeah, you're old. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I feel old.
Oh, stop. No, I think that's really two really important things that you mentioned, right? And like really common setbacks and challenges that people will see is, like I said, either injury or getting cut from a team, or like outside pressures or forces or criticism. So I think that's really important that you mentioned that you've been through both, and you've been through different things, and you're still able to be successful, humble, a great leader, all of the things that you are. I think that's really great inspiration for all of our listeners. So off of that as well, you kind of have mentioned some cool things, like you had, you mentioned you just had one of those games circled on your calendar. I want to know, like, what are some things that you do like that, for example, that like really just motivate you? Or maybe it's like goal setting, or maybe it's journaling, or maybe it's, what are some things that like Tess does that really helps you set your goals, or set your eyes on the prize? What are some things that like are unique to you feel like?
Yeah, so I work with a trainer, and he does a really good job at like, we talk about goals all the time and like the big picture, because like your life moves super quick and like goals come and go, and it's just like a constant movement and like rotation of like different things that you have in like the forefront. But something I definitely do is I'm very organized, like calendars and like scheduling, because it's just like I like to know like when it is, like how many days away. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have a school countdown, like stuff like that, like how many days left of school, but how many days like we play Darien, how many days till we play McDonough, what dates they are. I just like seeing it, and I like envisioning like all the weeks that I have before it. And I really just like knowing everything like set into place. But I recently started journaling. I have a really good friend, Emma, that's going to play lacrosse at the Army, and she journals. She got me into it, and I just started this like last 2 weeks, and I've been testing it out, and I really like it so far.
That's awesome. Are you doing anything specific, or are you just kind of like letting your thoughts out?
I started like letting my thoughts out, and then I've been looking online, like there's like different like ways to do it, and I've been testing some of them out. like writing down like quotes or like empowerment things and like affirmations. And then at USA we have a mindset coach, Emily, that like she gave us a couple of great tactics, and I've been looking at those too.
That's awesome. Emily was on this podcast once upon a time. So that is so cool. I love that. You just shouted her out. That's awesome. I'm glad you're getting into it. Obviously that's something that I'm big on too. So I'll have to send you one that our fellow KO17 athlete got me into, which was is definitely one of my favorite journals. I've rebought it like 3 times since she's gotten it for me. So maybe you'll like it. Awesome. So I think something we kind of like just started to get into was kind of a little bit about like what makes you you, right? And your values. So we've been doing this fun little segment with the KO17 athlete season where we kind of do like one word or one phrase answers, and we do 3 of them for each of these questions. So I want to kind of know, what are some of the things that you value the most in a person? What are 3 things that you value the most in a person?
I think probably honesty, hard work, and resilience.
Ooh, resilience is a good one. I like that. How hard can you get hit and still get back up? I like it. Awesome. What are some of the things that you value the most in your teammates?
I think just like their dedication, because like even if we're not all like gonna have like a loss or a win, we're gonna all be together, but just like how hard you're working. Communication definitely, and probably accountability.
Awesome. I like the communication one. Would you describe, I'm going off of the script here, but would you describe yourself as a very communicative person on the field, off the field, on the sideline? Like, how do you communicate as a teammate?
Yeah, I think I really like talking things out. I definitely am like one of those type of people. I think just like I like to understand like where other people are coming from and like be able to work things out together. And I just think like the communication like on the field and off the field is really key, because really like no matter what happens, you could probably work it out if you just like talk about it instead of just like trying to work it out individually.
I love that. That was the textbook definition of communication on a lacrosse field. So I love that. That's great. Okay, last but not least, we talked a little bit about this, how you're going to be a bit more of a leader this year. What are some of the things that you value the most in a leader?
Yeah, probably reliability, and then going off the other 2, but I think it's really important leader attributes is communication and honesty. I think those 3 things, just like as a captain or as a leader, it's just really important to have them.
Yeah. So are those some things like for you heading into senior year? Like I'm sure you've been a leader on your team, for years past, but heading into senior year specifically, right? A lot riding on like your last time out and stuff like
Yeah.
that. What are some things that you're really focusing on? So obviously there are goals like on the field for you, but what are some things that like are some of your goals for this upcoming season as a leader?
Yeah, I think as like a captain, one of the 3 captains, I just think like giving not only back to everyone on the lacrosse field and my teammates on the lacrosse field, but more to like the school and the community, that like leaving an impact, even if it's just one person, like one freshman or like 10 freshmen or 10 people on my team, just being able to like make a difference. And whether it's like one little thing about like practice or anything, just
Yeah.
giving them like something to look forward to when they get to like senior year, or to look up to, just like no matter, just making a difference on like the next generation, because I'm like we're not going to be there next year. And I think that's something like my coaches like talk to us about, like the next 3 captains now, just like make a difference in whether it's one player's life or 10 players.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's really, really special too. Just kind of like handing down not only culture of the team and like everything that should be expected, but also just like, you know, a lot of interviews that I see or things that athletes have said in the long run. It's like they're always looking to see what kind of impact they can leave, what kind of legacy they can leave. And that, yes, happens on the field sometimes with the plays that we make and the wins that we have, but more so in the locker room, in the huddles, in those, community led kind of spots. So I think that's really special that you're able to recognize that and set that as one of your goals. Really cool. Do you love watching sports highlights? Then you need 5-Star, the world's first sports highlight rating app. Think TikTok, but just for sports. Register as an athlete or as a fan to view and rate sports highlights of all sports, all in one place. 5-Star is a positive network of athletes from all skill levels to share their performance and get rated by peers, coaches, and community. Download 5-Star and post your highlights. Follow me at Kylie and rate my highlights, but please be kind. Available in the Apple and Google Play stores. Learn more at 5starapp.com. Awesome. So on the inspiration side of things, this is one of my favorite kind of questions that we do on the Dream On pod with all of our guests, but kind of a double whammy, two-sided question. But the first piece of it is I'd like to know some sort of advice or maybe a quote or something that's stuck with you that you've received from a coach, a parent, a mentor, like someone special in your life that said something to you and it really stuck with you. What is that, like, one piece of advice that you've kind of taken into life?
Yeah, so this is like just one that's like engraved in my memory, which goes back to like what we were just saying about being a leader. But I think every day, like when me and my brother would leave for school, like my dad would tell us to be a leader, not a follower. And that's just like stuck with me in all aspects of life, not only lacrosse, just like whether you're going out with your friends everywhere. Just something that's like really just engraved in like what I think I live by today.
That's really cool. So can you give us a couple like examples of how you can do that in like your everyday life and then it kind of shows up on the field? So like where else are you being a leader?
Yeah, like I think well probably like in school when you're like in group work, if you're like helping someone,
Yeah.
like bullying. I think when we were younger, like people getting made fun of. I think my parents have always done like a good job of like teaching us how to like stick up for people and how to just like be like comfortable in your skin and not like do stuff just because other people are doing it.
Yeah.
And then on the lacrosse field, just like doing what you think is right and just believing in yourself and having the self-confidence to like work in a system, listen to your coaches, and then still like be able to like communicate and work with your teammates and like just really following and just being a good person.
I love that. That was great. That was a great way to kind of like follow up on that. So if someone this is the other side of the question. If someone's following Tess, which we know lots of little girls are following Tess. Every time I show up to a clinic with you, they're like, I know Tess. And I'm like, yeah, I know her too. She's a star. But seriously, you have some followers, you have some people that you're role models for, and you're going to continue that as you grow throughout your career. So what is one piece of inspiration that you hope that those people are seeing from you and how you present yourself, maybe on social media or maybe just out in the world or as a coach? Like, what are some things that you're hoping that the people who follow you take from you?
I just think to always like be yourself and just like be unique. If you're weird, like be weird. If you're fun, be fun. Anything like that, just be comfortable with who you are and just like really take pride in who you are. And I think like lacrosse wise, I just think that like you can do it, that like anyone who puts their mind to it can do it. And it just truly to have like what like an overall theme of just like belief, just like if you're like I think like growing up like a little bit like coming from like a second club team, I was like a little bit of the underdog, like joining a bigger club. And it's just always like being comfortable with yourself and having the self-confidence and then just like being able to trust yourself, I think is really important. And I hope like people following me can like take that from me.
Yeah, I think they definitely will. They definitely will, my friend. So that is awesome. All right, really cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about the future, which is a perfect day for it. Like we mentioned, today is the day that, the Olympic Committee basically said yes to lacrosse in the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics. So, in terms of like our sport, women's lacrosse or lacrosse in general, where do you hope to see our sport in 5 or 10 years? Where are some like changes you wish to be made or, things you'd like to see on the big stage? Like, where do you hope to see lacrosse in 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, I think I really just am interested in seeing, especially today, like the lacrosse keep growing. I think it's going to keep growing because of how interesting and fun it is to watch, and more people are playing every single day. But I think like with like pro lacrosse, like AU Pro getting bigger and the Olympics coming, I just think it's like on such a great path, and I'm so excited to see where it ends up. And I honestly, truly just think it's going to keep growing.
Yeah, I agree with you. The more exposure we get, the more it's going to just keep booming. And I think it's going to be really cool to see someone like you on the Olympic stage one day. Is that the next dream?
Yes, definitely the next year. I was just texting my trainer about that. He like sent me the screenshot and he's like next goal. But yeah, it's super exciting and I just think that it's like just another thing to look and dream towards. It's just I feel
Yeah.
like with lacrosse every day we're like getting new dreams and it's just such a cool thing to be a part of and just like kind of like in the middle of it going into college.
Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. That's a great point that you just made, right? Like just kind of like being in the middle of it and finding out, you know, each week something new to strive for, it just refreshes your goals more and more. And I think there's nothing better to ask for than that as an athlete, right? So we're in a really special time for the game for sure. So I kind of asked, but like, what's next in life for Tess? What are you dreaming about these days?
Yeah, I think I'm just like in the short term high school season, but like long term getting ready for North Carolina next fall. I'm super excited to go with all my friends. I love the girls in my class, and I'm just like really looking forward to it. And then just I'm super excited to keep working hard and getting back out there with my friends. It's just such like a surreal, and it's moving so quick. I can't believe it.
So what are some things, I think this is a really important point, right? Like you said, you're kind of in the middle of trying to enjoy and stop and smell the roses, enjoy senior year, and like be mindful of like staying present and all of that. But at the same time, North Carolina is coming in hot next year as well. So I think this is a really like important year of commits lives. So what do you think like what are some of the things on your plans to make sure that you one are like, staying present and enjoying the moment, but also getting ready? Like what are some of the things you're trying to do to get ready for next year?
Yeah, like I've tried, like everyone says, like, oh, they don't think about it so far away, but it's like really not. It's gonna be here around the corner. And it's I've really just I try to like I'm enjoying the moment, but like when it comes to lacrosse, like I think everything I do lacrosse wise is like for the long term goal. And it's just like lifestyle wise, I'm definitely enjoying senior year, but working hard and like working towards that big goal is just something because UNC has been like a goal so much longer than it has been for like high school, and like for like senior year it's been like my goal forever. So just like getting closer to it is so exciting, and it's like working hard every day. It's like it's really just like your goal of like 10 plus years coming true. So I'm super excited to get there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way to put it. I think it's great that you like feel so balanced in it, because I think that's really important, right? It could be easily overlooked. So I'm really happy that you're working for it, which I had no doubt that you would be, but I'm also really happy that you're enjoying the moment, because that's precious too. All right, awesome. So we're gonna go into my favorite part of the Dream On pod, where we get to really just kind of like randomly know Tess, and we're gonna do some quick finishes. Okay. So the idea of these is kind of like rapid fire question answers. But some guests take like 2 minutes to answer each question. So do whatever you'd like.
Okay.
It's totally up to, if you feel like the answer needs an explanation, go for it. We just want to get to know you. Sound good? All right.
Good.
What is your favorite candy?
Swedish fish, definitely.
Nice. Good one. What is the best TV show in your opinion?
I've been a Grey's Anatomy fan for a long time.
Okay. Are you still watching like all the recent ones?
Which I fell off a little, I have to admit, but I've been trying to get back on when I have time. But it's a really long series of 17 seasons.
It is a really long series. I have to admit, I haven't watched the most recent, probably like 3 seasons either, but I'll get back into it eventually too. All right. Who is one of your favorite athletes to follow for inspiration?
One of my favorite athletes, I think, is Allie Kennedy. I like to follow her stuff on Instagram.
I love it. Shout out AK. Okay. What is your go-to breakfast meal?
Definitely big pancake, waffle, like hotel breakfast waffle person.
Nice. Do you like just plain waffles? Do you like load it up with syrup? Do you like chocolate chip waffle pancakes? Like, what do you like?
Load it up with like every unhealthy thing, like chocolate chips, syrup, whipped cream, everything.
You have a sweet tooth. Okay.
Yeah, that big sweet tooth.
Awesome. Do you like coffee? Is it Starbucks or Dunkin'?
Starbucks.
What's your order?
Normally get a caramel frappuccino, but I have to admit I haven't been going that much recently, but okay. I used to go a lot.
Trying to save some money. I gotcha.
Yeah.
You're heading to college next year. You got to save up. That's funny. All right. Are you a beach or mountains kind of girl?
Definitely beach.
Beach. She's a Long Islander. All right. What is your favorite jersey number to rep and why?
5. My dad wore 5 in college, and I just think like he's like someone I look up to athletically. So I think, and as a person, so I think just wearing it just like creates like another sense of like honor and like privilege to wear it.
Oh, that's awesome. I wear 17 for the same reason. So that's really, really cool. Well, not for your dad, for my dad, but I think you got that. Yeah. All right. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
probably a night owl. I'm definitely a night owl, yeah.
You like to
Not
stay up
a
late?
not a not a good, like, waker upper, but I'll do it if I have to.
Okay, that's fair. All right, last but not least, what is one thing on your bucket list?
One thing on my bucket list, think, like, this I don't know if my parents will ever let me do, but I've seen people skydive recently, so I'm gonna
Uh,
go with skydiving. Not that I'll ever get to do it, but maybe in, like, 20 years.
there you go. It's on a bucket list. That's what bucket
Yeah.
lists are for, right? That's
Mhm.
awesome. So cool. Well, listen, I think we definitely got to know a lot about, who you are as a person, as a player, as a leader. And before we go, I kind of have like one more question for you. And I know that this is something that, some of our KO17 fam want to know. They get to watch you play a lot. There's a lot of like, highlight videos and stuff that go on social media and they see you play a lot. So what would you say in terms of like your playing style? Like, I know, having worked with you for years, that, your deception and your ability to both feed and dodge are like some of your strongest suits. You just really read the field really well, and are kind of like two steps ahead of everything. But for you, like in terms of like how you've developed as a player, like what would you say, what would your advice be in terms of like some things to work on if there's maybe a young attacker that looks up to you and like wants to play just like you?
I think, like, stick work, definitely, like, a lot of the coaches I've ever had, like, they've really been, like, impressed with my stick work, and I'm really, like, I worked so hard to, like, wall ball, definitely worked at wall ball the hardest, one of the most things that I practiced by myself, and I just think that, like, stick work is, like, the root to, like, everything else that would, like, with stick work, deception comes, faking comes, so I
Mhm.
think that's, like, such a big part of, like, a young attacker and just, like, I think, like, without stick work, like, you really can't, like, excel lacrosse wise. So just keeping your stick in your hand and, like, trying all the crazy stuff you see online on the wall could, like, really help the young attacker form into, like, the next level.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. Like you said, that creative piece, right? Like getting the fundamentals down and repping that out will get the muscle memory there, but also muscle memory comes into play when it comes to that creative stuff too, right? And that's why you see Tess dipping and dunking on the crease in a USA game, or, hitting it behind the back in a St. Anthony's game. That's what you see, but it comes from the culmination of all the hard work that you put in behind the scenes, right?
Mhm.
Really cool. Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for all of your words of wisdom tonight. I think so many people have probably listened to this episode saying thank you as well. But again, I just want to like reiterate, it's been really, really awesome to see you grow from that player that would show up at sessions and be obsessed with getting better in that hour session and still be that person today, even though you've had all the success that you've had so far. It's really great to see you still have big goals, big dreams. Oh my gosh, she's journaling, like all of the things. It's awesome. But I just want to say thank you for being a part of our KO17 team. I think is really, really special. And thanks for all the wisdom you gave us tonight.
No, thank you for having me, and I really appreciate KO17 and everything they do for me because it's just an amazing program, and I'm so happy. Like, your platform is incredible. So
Oh,
happy I'm
thank
a
you.
part of it.
Yeah, forever, my friend. Seriously, started off at the clinics and now you're getting to rep and you're going to take us to UNC and everything. So, yeah, just super proud of you. And thank you everybody for listening.